Shalom, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Ba'asham Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, pushing this 100% truth of the gospel, waking up and sealing the elect of the nation of Israel through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh. And salutations to all you sincere Akim out here that are pushing this gospel in all righteousness and in all sincerity, risking your lives and your freedom to do so. Alright, this is your brother Abawa, and I'm back with another video, okay? And this is actually a video that has been already been taken down by YouTube before, but I'm planning on I just decided to do it again since I believe the information that is here is actually relevant. So this will be a more PC version of the original video, just to make sure that YouTube doesn't strike it again, okay? And basically what this video is going to go into, we live in an ass backward society, alright? And excuse my language, but that is basically what you should believe or what you should see whenever you see things like this, okay? We live in a ass backward society full of savages or uncivilized, okay? Because that's how I see this world, man. Completely uncivilized, in a civil society, in a healthy, sensible society, you would be following the laws of the scriptures, okay? And there won't be any confusion about what is written in the scriptures. There won't be people, twisting words of the scriptures, twisting the holy scriptures in whatever way they do, in their own way, okay, to benefit themselves, and completely ignoring basic fundamental words that are written up in the scriptures, okay, things that are plain upon tables, things that you don't need a heavy breakdown to understand. You just read it verbatim, read it as it is written, and you understand what it what it's trying to say. No confusion, but you still have people out here, man, especially these Edomites, just twisting scripture every which way that they can. Just like I dropped my phone. Just wanted to quickly do something real quick. Okay, hold on. Now let me go back to it. So this is the article that I want to read. Marriage equality. And that word marriage equality, the meaning is equality of marriage for all sexual preferences. So I should give you an idea of what that word is going into, okay? So that means that all marriages are supposed to be the same, no matter the orientation of the and the no matter the gender of the two individuals getting married, and no matter and even going as far as, and that they're going to start doing this very soon, these PCs. And let me just keep it there. Let me just put it at that, okay? Because you know what Esau is, though you know how Esau is these days, man. Out here looking for whatever, out here looking for any video that you can bring down. Let's not give him a reason. Alright, so this is the title of the article: Marriage Equality and the Bible. Why all forms of marriage in the Old Testament are not equal. And then just a quick spoiler, since you're if you are actually interested in what I have to say concerning this article, let me just summarize it. The individual that made this, that wrote this article is wrong. All marriage in the Bible is equal because it is between one man and one woman, okay? Which is why here, so I cannot here, but in GMS, okay, my apostles and my elders, they always say that you can't, it is unlawful for you to have sex with more than one woman, okay? You can marry more than one woman, but you cannot have sex with more than one woman at the same time. All right. Now, first and foremost, let's get some few things out of the way. First of all, the act of sex is marriage, okay? I believe that is Exodus 18 verse 23, that if a man enticeth a maid and lie with her, he must surely endow her to be his wife, okay? And of course, going into Abraham and Isaac, our forefathers, okay, and Jacob as well. How did they marry their wives? They took them into a tent and they lay with them, and they became wives unto those men, okay? So that is showing you that sex is the marriage, okay? even more important than the dowry that you pay for the woman is actually having intercourse with the woman. Okay, now this shows and this proves that you cannot marry more than one woman. Okay, you cannot, exactly, I mean, you cannot marry more than one woman at the same time. In other words, you can't have sex with more than one woman at the same time, because what does the scripture say? That the marriage is between one man and one woman. That was the intercourse that consummates the marriage is between one man and one woman. You can't marry two women at the same time. Okay, you can't marry three women at the same time. Okay, that's wickedness. That's confusion. Okay, but that's not what this article is going into. What this article is going into is that, because of according to this individual that wrote the article, okay, the Edomite that wrote the article, Richard White Kettle, that since the Bible has different situations in which you can find your wife, or different situations in which you can find a woman to marry, and that means that that there is no, all the forms of marriage in the Bible are not equal. So imagine that this individual here is advocating for marriage equality, okay, and yet he says that, yet he's proving that he's trying to say that all the forms of marriage in the Old Testament are not equal. So that seems like a contradiction to me. But in all actuality, they are equal, okay, because at the end of the day, all these different marriages that he's going to mention, okay, so-called marriages that he's going to mention, these are all between one man and one woman, okay. Now, the circumstances in which you find the woman, okay, or you get the woman they are going to marry, or you get the one you're going to be married to, might differ, but at the end of the day, the process of the marriage is the same, which is the sexual intercourse. So now let's get into the article. This article, and it reads: the only form of marriage that existed before the fall was between one man and one woman. The narrative trajectory of the Old Testament shows that all other versions were the result of sin. Equality can sometimes be a good thing. For example, it was nice when your brother or sister didn't get a bigger piece of cake than you did, and this is trying to ease you into the idea of their equality, which is basically wants more of that wickedness. Okay, love who you want. That Aleister Crowley's doctrine, and I believe they call it the Thelema doctrine. Let me see where I can find that Theli. I don't know how to. I don't know how to It's like I don't know how to. I don't know the spelling. Okay, that is right. It's Thelema Aleister. Because I always mention it, but I've never actually brought it out. So let me see if I can find either a picture of it. I don't want to go into a video of it. So let me see if I can find a picture of it. This isn't the whole one. It's basically, and if you're going to the history of Aleister Crowley, he was one of the prominent figures in Egyptology, and of course he was a popular, Satanist. Or basically, that law of Telemali is going into the doers. That is where you get the whole doctrine of doers thou wilt. And that's basically what I'm looking for, the whole thing. And I might not even really go into it, but I just want to bring that a little bit. Let me see if I can find it. Basically the quote is, what do as thou wilt, that shall be the whole of the law. That's basically what it is. Let me just type it. Let me just type it so I can spell it, so I can find it. Okay, here it is. Let me see if I can find. Here it is. And this is it. Let me just quickly jump to this part. 3 statements in particular distill the practice and ethics of Thelema. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law, meaning the adherents of Thelema should seek out and follow their true path, find or determine their true will, which of course you should already know if you are a true student of the scriptures, okay, a true disciple, that there is no such thing as free will or true will. That all the will, okay, that there is only the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Alright, now you see another one. Love is the law, love under will. And that's basically what this telema is going into. Do what thou wilt, that shall be the whole law. Love is the law, love under will. And what that love is this wickedness that you are seeing all over the earth today. The love of self, narcissism, okay, the love of, and the love basically being just lost, okay. You get this love demon on you, and it brings out all kinds of lust, and that's why you not get lost, and you not get all these different perversions that you're seeing out here, man. And that's basically what that's basically what this doctrine stands for. Pure wickedness, pure confusion. And which is what is going on all over the earth right now, because 2/3 of our people, and all you Edomites out here, all you people that are in the world, you heathen, you are all adherents to this philosophy of Thelema, okay? Now going back to the article, and I continue. Equality can certainly be a good thing. For example, it was nice when your brother or sister didn't get a bigger piece of cake than you did, and it is nice when two friends care about each other with this is just slack here, this is just babble. This is what I want to go into, okay? So now I'll jump down to the main point. For example, in 2001, Bruce Robinson published an article on the Ontario Consultants on religious tolerance on religious tolerance website entitled "Marriage and Family Forms: Opposite and Same Sex in Ancient Times and Now." The article identifies and discusses the 8 different marital agreements found in the Old Testament and presents them in the following handy chart, okay? And it does not even go into the different marriage. These are not, or I should say that, yeah, they're actually marital agreements, but they make it seem as though these are different types of marriage. But at the end of the day, it is still the same type of marriage, okay? A man and a woman, and most importantly, it is a woman that is not betrothed, or a woman that does not have another man, okay? Basically, a single woman and a man. That is all this marriage goes into. And trying, getting the feeling in the back of my head that is that just saying that marriage is between a man and a woman is enough to piss his algorithm off. But that's the truth, okay? It's what we stand by, it's what we teach, okay? It's what my elders and my apostles teach, and of course what I teach, and I've never ever in my life believed that it was any other way, okay? Nah, that's not how it works. So let me just open this up and zoom in a little bit, just to get some of these words. Okay, the first one is man plus woman nuclear family, which of course is the one that you see prominent. I want to say that you see prominently in society today, but even this form has already been decimated, okay? Because you see what Esau has done is he has completely, as the scripture says, he had changed the everlasting ordinances. So he has even taken out this form of marriage, okay, which is the family system. A man and a woman together bearing children and taking, and building a family. That you don't see that anymore. What you see now is single mothers. What you see now is baby mamas and baby daddies. Women getting all. These women are liberated and allowed to go around, are allowed to sleep around, have multiple bastards. That's exactly what these children are, from different men, and raise them all up to become demons in this society, man, and become a plague in this society, okay? So the first one is man plus woman nuclear family. Wives subordinate to their husbands. Interfaith marriage is forbidden. Marriage is generally arranged, not based on romantic love. Bride who could not prove her virginity was stoned to death. Which of course, we already know all these scriptures and all these laws, okay? If you are going to marry a woman, you have to make sure that she is a maid, okay? In other words, a virgin, okay, has never been touched by any other man, except if you are marrying a widow, okay? Which that's the second form of marriage we will go into now. Man plus brother's widow, levirate marriage. Widow who had not born a son required to marry her brother-in-law must submit sexually to her new husband, okay? And a common trend you will see in all these different types of marriages, in all these comparisons, is that it states that what the woman must submit to the man, because that is the law. That is how it is. Okay, that is how it will always be. You know, going to the book of Genesis, what the scriptures say that when the Most High caused Eve, let me get that. That your favor, that your eye shall be towards thine husband, and he shall rule over thee. So let me get that. It's like I'm looking for it. Alright, Genesis 3 verse 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Okay, which is probably another reason why. But anyway, we still move on. You women out here, okay, you are supposed to be submissive to your husband or your fathers, depending on who you are under right now. Okay, a man is supposed to be always be over. You know, you women out here, you women are supposed to always have a man that is over you. Okay, this is why you see so many of our women that are messed up right now, because nobody is ruling. Nobody, nobody, no man is is over them, and they are allowed to their own devices. This is why so many of our women are messed up, unhappy. You know, Jake women out here talking about they can't find a good man, yet they don't want to submit to any man that they find. Okay, so now the third one, man plus wives plus concubines, and it gives you examples of these different of the men that had wives and concubines. Okay, and which of course already know what the word concubine is. It's basically a lesser wife. Okay, you can marry a woman, you can marry a main, yeah, you have main wives, and then you have concubines, which would basically just be for sex. Okay, so the fourth one is rapist plus his victim, which of course this is a big deal in Israel. But even you see that even people that are in the world understand that understand the whole rape laws. Okay, they understand how it works. Okay, that if you see a woman that hasn't been betrothed, okay, a woman that isn't engaged, that doesn't have a husband out in the field, man, and you lie with her, even if whether let me just leave it at that. You lie with her, whether it is you grab her up or it is you entice her. Alright, it is at the end of the day, it's still the intercourse, and you still have to make her your wife. Okay, and it reads, virgin who is raped must marry her rapist. Rapist must pay victim's father 50 shekels of silver for property loss. Alright, and let me get that. I'm tempted to get the law, but let me just leave it at that. Alright, and the fifth one is man plus woman's property, and it reads, man could acquire his wife's property including her slaves. Basically, the reason why is because if a man marries a woman, as the scripture says, he that getteth a wife, let me get that's in the apocrypha, he that getteth a wife getteth a possession. And guess what, once you get a possession, get everything that is owned by that possession becomes yours. And there's a reason why I'm using the word possession. I don't want to mention it again, but you already know what it is. So this is the book of Ecclesiasticus 36 verse 24, and it reads, he that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest. Alright, that's basically what your wife is supposed to be. A pillar of rest, a possession. There's something they are supposed to enjoy. But Esau, this devil. Okay, and which is why we need deliverance from this kingdom, man. Because this devil has done things that the Most High had given us as gifts. Something that we should, things that we should enjoy. Women, children, lands, cattle. All these various things that are made for. Let me get that precept. Let me get that preset. Sakya. I'm trying to figure out how it goes. Here it is. Ecclesiasticus 39, verse 26, and it reads, the principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour and wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of grape, and oil and clothing. All these things are for good to the godly, so to sinners they are turned into evil. That's basically what Esau had done. All the things that all the principal things that the Most High had provided for a man's life, okay, Esau has turned them all into wickedness. All the gifts that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua had given us, okay, not just us Israelites, but the heathen as well, as things that was made for our enjoyment, okay, that was put on the earth by the Most High that we should use for our enjoyment, has been turned to evil. Right now, it was going into even the woman and even the whole idea of marriage, everything has been turned to evil. Okay, and a good example of this would be Abraham when Sarah gave Hagar Abraham to impregnate and give birth to Ishmael. And another example would be Jacob and Leah. They gave their handmaidens Zilpah and Bilhah to Jacob. So like I meant Rachel and Leah, not Jacob and Leah. So like I slip of the tongue. Rachel and Leah gave their handmaidens, okay, Zilpah and Bilhah to Jacob to impregnate. This is a good example of that. And once again you see the common trend in all these marriages. They are still between a single man and a single woman, okay. It's the marriage, the ceremony, the marriage, the actual act of the marriage is being done between one man and one woman, okay. So now continue on to number 6, male soldier plus prisoner of war. And this is one that not many people will be familiar with. So let me get that one in the Bible. Okay, I believe that is Deuteronomy 21. The person that made this picture was actually nice enough to, or rather decent enough to actually link the scriptures. Okay, so this is the book of Deuteronomy 21 verse 10. When thou goest forth to war against thine enemies, and Yahweh thy power hath delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captives, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife, then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails, and she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month. And after that thou shalt go in unto her, and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife. And that is basically it, okay. Taking prisoners of war. That is how you take prisoners of war. Okay, they don't take male prisoners of war. They don't take male prisoners of war, whether adults or children. They all are killed, okay, and they don't take prisoners of war that that has been married or betrothed. They kill all of them, which is why they always left the young women and the children and the female children alive, so they could be slaves. So they could. I was thinking about this. That I was thinking that this is basically a sex slave, but it's more of a husband. It's more of a husband-wife relationship, because even the scripture said it, that woman would be a wife and you would be her husband, which of course it's far different from being a sex slave. There are more responsibilities attached, but that's beside the point. Alright, moving on to the 7th one, and it reads, man plus woman plus woman plus woman, which is polygamy, which of course they make it seem like when you marry these women, you marry them all at the same time. But like I said before, okay, marriage is always between a single man and a single woman, okay, one man, one woman. You might, as a man, you might marry more than one wife, but you don't do that at the same time. You marry them in each one at a time, okay, which keeps that same, which is according to the law, okay, that marriage would be always between one man and one woman, as the scripture says that a man shall leave his mother and his father's wife and cleave unto his wife, and they twain shall become one flesh, okay, which of course it is possible for a man to be one flesh with more than one woman, but not multiple women at the same time. And the last one is male slave plus female slave. okay, which if you are a servant, or you know serving under your master, he can choose a wife for you. And let me get that precept. Let me just get it. Let me just actually instead of explaining it, let me let the scriptures explain it. All right, Ecclesiastic, my bad. Exodus 21, and I'll start from verse 1. Exodus 21 verse 1. Now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. If thou buy an Hebrew servant, 6 years, 6 years he shall serve, and in the seventh he shall go out free for nothing. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master have given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out by himself. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. And that's right, because if you marry under the master that you are serving, and you have to leave your wife and your children just in order to become free of that master, you're not going to take that choice. You're going to choose to continue to serve another master, so you will have your wife and your children with you. Okay, so continuing, then his master shall bring him unto the judges, and he shall also bring him to the door, or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ears through it and all, and he shall serve him forever. Okay, and it also go down. It's also going into a man, a Hebrew man, an Israelite man that can sell his daughter into that can sell his daughter into marriage, or sell his daughter into servitude. Okay, because that is also in the scriptures. Okay, also going into individuals selling themselves into servitude. All right, that's all in the scriptures. Now, the problem with this whole article right here is that he's using these examples of marriage according to the scriptures to try and justify various other marriages of the other types of the other orientations, persuasions, of the various other types of sexual orientations. Let me just put it like that, okay? Because in my previous videos I was actually going into the words, and it got struck, and it got hit with a strike. So let me just say it like that. And I was trying to use these different forms of marriage to justify, alright, those types of marriages, which of course we already know that he doesn't understand what marriages are in this according to the scriptures. Okay, if marriage, if sexual intercourse is marriage, then how is it possible how is marriage possible between nothing other than a man and a woman? Okay, because what those people do, okay, as hard as it is to actually picture, imagine in your mind, and as disgusting and abominable, because that's exactly what it is, an abomination. It is not intercourse, okay? It is an abomination, defiling their bodies with themselves. That is going into the book of Romans, the first chapter. So yeah, I don't want to go into any more of this article, because this is the second time I'm doing this video, and because of Esau just getting butt hot, okay? Which is why you have to be waiting for going through this real quickly, but the first time was very unpleasant, so, and the second time is no more different. So let me just get this preset real quick. As the scripture says, if a man lieth with a man according to, if a man lieth with another man as he lieth with women, let me just get it. Let me not butcher it. Alright, so this is the book of Leviticus 20, verse 13, and it reads, this whole book right here is going into different forms of sexual fornications, okay? Because we have spiritual fornication and sexual fornication. This is going into sexual fornication, which involves incest, okay? It involves the various incest, and majority of it incest, and the other and the second different and the various um other abominations. So this is the book of Leviticus 20 verse 13, and it reads, "If a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death, their blood shall be upon them." Okay, and it's the same thing with women. If a woman lies with another woman, okay, that is an abomination. It equals the death sentence. Okay, so you know according to the scriptures, we already know what types of marriages are allowed. Okay, what types of unions, okay, are allowed. What types of intercourse, right, of this, are allowed between a man and a woman, a virgin, unbetrothed, unmarried, okay, or widowed. You're depending on the situation, but it's always between a man and a woman, okay, because what the scriptures say, that when the Most High made when the Most High made them, he made them both male and female, okay, and he made it so that it would be so that marriage and intercourse and all these other things would be only between a male and a female, okay. So yeah, just going to end it right there. So with that, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham Yawashai, Ba'asham Rachak Wadash, Wa Abad Babal, and through the Spirit, I hope you Akim and you Akwas were edified. Shalom.